Hey everyone, so today is slightly different as an episode. So usually I cover things around AI and technology and I showcase what I do and maybe some news. Today, honestly, because I went into certain conversations around AI and its impact on us, on our daily life, on our careers in the past couple of weeks. So I thought maybe I can address that on one of my episodes. I know it's not the usual, but I think it's very important and interesting as a topic. And I can see lots of anxieties, which I have myself, around the topic when I talk to people and I discuss in different sets in work, maybe in some conferences I go to. Many people are worried about AI and they don't know what to do, how to feel about it, what's coming their way. So, what I'm going to do today is just quickly cover the technology. What is AI basically? Very high level. There's an episode detailed on that. If you want to watch it, I'll add it to the description. And then I'm going to go into what are the emotions, thought process people are going through now as they hear more and more news when it comes to artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of these kind of things that are saying it's going to take your job away. And I'm going to say and share with you, based on my research, what are the hottest jobs in the market going forward. So if you're in the university or you want to switch careers, you have the skills for it, I'll cover those as well. And from there, we're going to go and look at which job families are the most affected by this technology, which are probably the least affected, and what you should do about it, and what you should not do, what you should not definitely do as you deal with this new technology coming our way. So to bring this, I had to read lots of articles around the topic, lots of research. I'm going to include most of these links in the descriptions, so don't worry about that. The way I'm going to go about it is more conversational. I have a chart that explains everything, and we're going to go phase by phase, step by step into that chart and discuss the topic. And really, this is a discussion because there's so many open-ended questions that I don't have the answer to. Even those research papers can't claim that they know how to answer. And you have to write your comment in the comment section. Maybe myself and others within the community can have that conversation. We can help each other out as we maneuver our way into this new technology. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Samer. I try to help people work with artificial intelligence and other technologies really easily. You don't need to be a coder to really be part of this community. At least this is my goal out of the channel. And today I think I'm going to be also an AI shrink of some sort. So if you're new, if you enjoy the content, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and add your comment, add your feedback. I would love to get it and do something with it, maybe learn or do future videos based on your feedback. And with this, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. The mic.
Okay, so as you can see, this is how I'm gonna take you through the topic. It's a conversation, but I just wanted my brain to be really aligned so I can help you get those ideas in a very organized manner so you can articulate them if you want to discuss it with people. Maybe you can have that peace of mind that you really understand what's coming, at least from my perspective. And again, I'll share all the links with you. As you can see, I've looked at so many papers, so many topics around the subject, and I'm trying just to give you the gist of it. It's a conversation just to keep it short, and then on your own time, you can dig deeper into any of the areas that we cover today. But let's start with what is the technology we're talking about. So in many cases, I see people are talking, oh, AI is going to take our job. This is what's going to happen when automation kicks in and agents are coming, and they do not really understand what it is. Again, my understanding, I think it's above average. But again, these things are very specialized domains and areas, and you don't need to have that kind of understanding. But let's start with automation, which is really the thing that we all know is there for a long time. And the way I put it, I break it down, it's robotics and applications. And when it comes to robotics, the easiest way to explain it, it is basically physical robots or physical devices that replace the manual work of humans that are repetitive. So for example, the easiest way I can give an example on this is you've seen all the videos of these kind of logistics robots that work in the Amazon warehouses, right? So when you place the order comes in electronically, And one of these robots is assigned to go grab your item and bring back to the dock or the area where they're going to pack it and send it out to shipping. So this is the part of robotics. Obviously, when you go to manufacturing in factories, there's much more in it. When it comes to cars, it has its benefits. It's definitely lower cost for the business. Sometimes it's safer to have robots doing certain jobs compared to humans. But this is what robotics is. It's there for a while. Maybe now with artificial intelligence, it can do more. That's something for us to observe. One of the things now, for example, AI's ability to analyze imagery could give these kind of robotics a much more anatomy when it comes to how they operate. Now, the other thing is applications, and this is the normal automation that you do through applications that you use on daily basis, like sending emails, getting some kind of input, updating in a database. And I cover a lot in that when I use tools like Zapier, for example. That's part of the software type of automation. This also is something not new, but in the past it was very rigid because you'll have to do so many things for that automation to work. Today, especially when dealing with text, we have large language models adding power to those automations in a sense. So we can do much more with these automations. We can get them to do other things that in the past were either very low quality. Imagine in the past having an automation send an email to customer. So it's just probably sending one of 2 or 3 templates, which gets boring and maybe less interactive with the customer. Today, you can have an AI model actually draft that email uniquely for that customer, for his case, for his situation, and hit the right buttons in a sense with that customer. So that just took this automation to a totally different level. Now then we go to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it's an ecosystem. It's not like one thing, it's not one technology, and it's not new. So the concept of artificial intelligence, was developed long back when someone said, brains work through these neurals that trigger and are connected to each other, and electricity basically flows in them. Something's happening in that kind of in these paths. We get thoughts, also we get inputs, and we process those inputs to again make us take actions or do something else with it. So someone came up with the idea and said, can we actually do this electronically? And they tried to literally mimic how our brain work in terms of these neural or nodes, whatever you call them, but it is the analysis of how our brain work at a neural level, and thus the word artificial neural networks. So they built something, we never got it off the ground in a sense, because to have artificial intelligence technology, you need the models that we keep hearing about. Basically, you need the math behind how these things work. We need the computing power, and we need the data. At that time, we didn't have 2 of them. We didn't have the computing power and we didn't have the data. Now, after that, we progressed a lot. There were many breakthroughs in the topic, nothing major. But at some point, we went to the concept of machine learning. That was a mainstream, which is different. We don't use these neural networks. We use algorithms that help us basically predict or see trends in the information that we feed that machine learning algorithm with. And this is, we're talking here about clustering, regression, mathematical models that help us figure out, what is the probability of a certain value happening in the future based on certain parameters. And this is not rocket science. We take the basics of that in math in school. Just how these models actually work, the machine learning models, and give us predictions for complex scenarios or data sets. But then someone tried to use the concept of artificial intelligence, which was there, to bring those kind of machine learning concepts into, again, that technology of neural network. And here came the science of deep learning. So when deep learning happened, we started working with images, be able to look at an image and predict what is it. And they started with things like letters and numbers. And that was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but that was basically where the spark of artificial intelligence started. Deep learning till now, it's something reserved for complex things, imagery, voice, and these type of applications. Now, once we went there, well, everything else is just a snowball effect. At some point, we were able to build neural networks that are trained on massive data, that have huge computing behind it, that is able to still predict, because it's all about prediction from the concepts of machine learning using neural networks. So it's predicting in a different kind of infrastructure, if that's the right term to use here, but it's still prediction. So today, what you see in ChatGPT or in Claude or whatever AI you're using is basically a model that is predicting the next word it has to say. So it doesn't understand what it is telling you, but it is just predicting the next word and the next word. It's much more complex than that. I'm just trying to give you a highlight of the technology in simple terms. So basically, the easiest way to put all of that technology of artificial intelligence is prediction machines. I read it in a book. I think it's a very good term. So these are prediction machines. They help you predict, even predict what you want to hear on a topic. And today they got really good. People are depending on them to solve problems, ask questions, have inquiries, and see the answers that they get. But again, because they're predicting, there's always a risk of hallucination. This is something, whenever you research AI, you're going to hear about it. AI models hallucinate because sometimes they could predict something off, or they could predict something that is not true, because again, they're predicting. One of the things that I think are eye-openers for people who want to understand AI is the strawberry test. So if you ask a model, some of them are addressing this problem, but if you ask a model, how many R's, how many letter R is there in the word strawberry? In most cases, they used to get it wrong because this is not part of their training data necessarily. So they're predicting and usually they answer wrong and they say, well, it's 2. And this is why it's good with math. You cannot predict math of some sense. You'll have to actually run equations to solve math. Artificial intelligence models, at least large language models, as they are today to the consumer level that we interact with, can do really good math. It's improving because now they're solving it with different type of technology, not purely large language models. Now, the last thing I want to cover on artificial intelligence is the concept of agents. You hear it today, you're going to hear it much more in the future. And agents are basically, the way I would put them, they are applications empowered or enabled by large language models that have access to functions that could help them execute tasks. So for example, a large language model is something I give it an input, I get an output, an answer. An agent, it's an application that could assess a certain input from a certain application or database, and it has a function that it can call and ask it to execute something for it. So for example, you can feed an agent certain inputs. It can decide, because it has the power of a function calling large language model, it can decide to call a function that sends an email. And that agent will send an email to a customer, to a supplier, to whatever person or individual based on that application. So these are basically AI that can do tasks for us as humans. Now here, it's very important to really look at what are the gaps in artificial intelligence, what are the things that artificial intelligence can't do. And one of them is critical thinking. It's not actually thinking, the artificial intelligence or the LLM. If you look at some of the models, they use it maybe as something nice to see while the large language model is running a request. They are not thinking and they're not able to do critical thinking. Actually, we need more humans that interact with these models, especially in business, to be critical thinkers, because this will not solve your problems. And you want to make sure that people who deal with this technology doesn't get complacent, because it's so good. The prediction is so good that people could default always to solving their problems or answering their questions through going to a large language model. And that's a dangerous kind of behavior, if you ask me. This is my opinion. Now, the other thing is complex problems. I guarantee you, if you have a complex problem in your business, at least for today, and I think for a long time in the future, these large language models will not solve your problem. You need people from different angles from your business or whatever problem. It could be something outside the business world. You need them to sit around the table, dig deeper into the details, look at things, how they work, how they're not working, what's the problem, define it, and find solutions. Maybe this technology will make it much more powerful as a process to solve problems. It will be faster. It will be maybe more effective as humans do it, but it's something that humans can do. Large language models cannot. Okay, so that's clear. Now, the other one is creativity and emotional intelligence. And please don't get me started or don't tell me in the comment section, oh, now we have AI art, which is better than human art. Now, I would question that because at the end of the day, reason that AI model that's generating an image, it's based on training material. And that training data or training material is basically photographs or videos that humans took or art that humans created, trained on the collective creativity of the human race. And now it's able to generate these things. It's exciting, I get it, but it's not creative in it on its own. It's just using the creativity of humans to recreate some type of creativity. So the creativity still is coming from myself and from you. Never forget that. And they don't have emotional intelligence. It seems that they are emotional. Sometimes if you talk to it, even now with the real-time voice by OpenAI, for example, it's tricky. You can have an empathetic type of conversation with an AI model. It's not real. It's just predicting what you want to hear. And that is something, again, unique to us. Because let me go back to the problem solving. When you solve a problem, it is never just numbers and figures. We know that. If you work with people, you need to address their interests, their fears. You need to have that look, kind of empathetic look on things and deal with people in a way that could facilitate a solution. Because when dealing with a human, this is the fact. And even if you're going towards a pragmatic and logical solution, that's fine. But at least you know how to navigate your way to get people on board, get their buy-in, and minimize the impact on a problem of the people around it in a negative way. And usually that's for your interest. So that is something models can do today, and we still need our people to do it. We need the humans to do it. Large language model is a tool. Let me put it this way. It's still a tool. It's a really nice tool. It's impressive technology, but nothing more than that. We need to actually know how to use it better, but we know its limitation as well and know its strength. That's always good to use it as one extra tool we have in our toolbox. So, okay, we've covered the technology. Let's move to the next part, people's emotion. And I think this is one of the important things I have. You can see multiple areas to look at based on my conversation and some of the things I read online. But let's go to the first one. We'll move one by one and then we'll discuss them and we'll move to the next one and so forth. So, job insecurity and anxiety. I mean, if you're looking at the pace things are going when it comes to artificial intelligence coupled with automation, you would be crazy not to worry. So let me acknowledge that. So I'm going to acknowledge the feeling of worry. If you have it, I have it myself. And I'm spending so many time and hours working with AI and automation. I love it. I enjoy it and I understand it. And in theory, I shouldn't be having any concern because I think I have kind of my area when it comes to doing business with this technology. But it's normal. We need to protect ourselves, our livelihood, our families. So it's normal worry when you look at this technology and what's doing and where it's going. So that's information. Now, where is this coming from? Well, economic security and concerns, right? So we now, I think, at least for me, I'm spending more time on thinking about my job security. And I think that's natural. And this is where, some anxieties come. And even you will see from some of the articles I share, mental health, I think, is a topic not really discussed at depth. I think it needs to be discussed more and more when it comes to how we deal with this technology. Because people are anxious, people are worried more. They see impact on the ground. So I'm not gonna, pad this topic. Certain people lost their job and certain people will still lose their job because of artificial intelligence and automation. And we need to be able to articulate the change to people, help them go over that change period or transition period and how to handle it. And this is the intention of this video. And then there are issues around differences in pay to people. Certain functions might have more benefit of that technology compared to others. So these areas of the business might get higher wages, others might get the shorter end of the stick. They might get actually either stagnation in their wages or even cuts. So no one knows where this is going. At least these are things that people are thinking about as we speak. And definitely if that happens, it will bring lots of groups' morale within a business or within an economy down because they're not getting the benefit of the technology. They're not part of that hype, and they're not getting the benefit, and they see others benefiting from it, getting more money, and that will have a huge impact. And I think one thing I just want to mention here is sometimes we think we can't operate without all of these pieces in our society. And usually when it goes so wrong and we make big mistakes, we realize that even the part of the society that you're not thinking of is having a huge impact on the ecosystem we have running today in our lives every day. So we have to think about that. Who will benefit more? Who will benefit less? How can we address that and deal with it and explain it or fix it maybe better? And then there is the topic of pressure to upskill and reskill. And I'm not saying the need. The need is there. It should become something that people should work on. That's fine. We'll address it later. People at some point, maybe you don't feel it today. I feel it myself. Going forward, I think there will be lots of pressure for people to upskill, reskill, skill shift. All these terms will come. And not everyone will deal with that pressure equally. Some people will be open. Some people maybe are older. They want to change. They want to learn something new, but they still have a livelihood to take care of. Maybe their ability is more limited at a certain situation to learn something new when it comes to technology. So the pressure is there. And the reason I put this box in green is because this is why I started this channel. I wanted to get people who are not purely technical to learn in the easy way. I hope I learn with time to actually deliver the content easier and easier, but to learn technology in a way that is not really confusing and that just get them enough information that they can either do great things with it, complex things, or they can just get their basics in and they can do simple stuff while articulating the technology and showing that they understand it and they can work. So this is an interesting piece of information here. That says surveys reveal that over 60% of organizations report difficulty in filling AI and machine learning roles due to a lack of qualified candidates. So already there's a gap. So that's an opportunity. If you ask me, this is an opportunity. I shouldn't have put it in red, but I just wanted to have that kind of color contrast. This is an opportunity. Companies want more people that understand AI, and they can't find them. So if you're out there watching this video, it could be something to think of. Today you might be doing a certain role. Well, this is your chance to differentiate yourselves, and this is something that I will cover later, so I don't want to spend more time on it here. So this is one area of what people are going through or thinking. Now, something else is adaptation challenges and also impact on geographic and demographic groups. So not everyone will adapt to that change the same way. Not everyone has the opportunity to adapt at the same pace. So you'll find certain countries, maybe financially better in the West, are investing more money to get this technology, to train their people, reskill or skill shift their people, and they get the benefit out of that. So they're going to have less of those negative impacts within their societies. Maybe not 100%, but definitely they're going to do much better than poorer countries or maybe certain communities within a country that are not getting the same access to the technology. They're not getting the same support for the shift that's happening now in the technology world. So these are groups that could be impacted differently. So you might have groups that will get the benefit of it. Other groups could get negative part of it. And the reason I'm putting all of these is these are things people are thinking of. I think if you want to be a social person within your community, you should be thinking about these things. Not only how it affects you, but the people around you in your country or in your region. So this is something to think of. How will it affect different people? And how can we make sure that we minimize the number of people that are left behind? Because it's an expensive technology. If you want to train a model, it will cost lots of money. And some of them are open source, which is given to the public, and some of them are closed source. Even the open source one, basically the technology is out. Just to train it, the cost is high. You need certain type of computing infrastructure that is not available everywhere. And even if you want to rent it and you want to get access to it, not everyone will be allowed to get access, and if you get access, it is costly. So I think these are things everyone should think of within corporate world, business world, and even politicians and legislators. I think this is something that we cannot miss, even just to entertain that kind of thought process, like how we're going to handle all of these scenarios. So this is one thing to look at. Also, workplace dynamics. Imagine, and this is again part of what I read, imagine in one workplace, some people are getting more investment to be trained on AI. Their wages are increasing, they're getting more money, they're happy, they're super excited about AI. Now, you might find other groups within the same organization not getting the same opportunities and falling behind and with their wages cut or stagnated. And again, I hope companies don't make these big mistakes. I think you will realize at some point that these same people could make it or break it for your business. And I think some people will learn the hard way. Some people will actually realize that and try to minimize those dynamics, because if you do that, not to mention the issues that could happen within the organization, you don't need that negative tension between groups within one business. Things will stop working properly or smoothly, and eventually the customer will pay the price. And if the customer pays the price, the customer will stop paying. So the business will have itself disservice if you don't really address this. Now, there are positive things. Not everything is doom and gloom. There are positive things. So let me cover these two things that are something positive that you can look forward to when it comes to the technology. So it's good to look at the negative, but also we have to look at the positive. We have to try to see a goal, see a light at the end of the tunnel and say, if we do these things right, actually we can improve things for our company, our economy, our community. So there has been a substantial year-over-year increase in AI-related job postings. For example, some reports indicate increase of 50% or more in certain regions or industry. This will bring lots of jobs. At least all the details that we have today, all the substance you see online in terms of posting is telling us there will be job creation and it's going to be significant. So that's something to look out for. So if you don't like your job today, you can actually in the future have one job within that 50% where you're doing something maybe, like me, I like technology, is more interesting for you. Professionals with AI skills command a salary premium, often earning 20 to 30% higher salaries than peers in similar non-AI roles. So basically, if you're doing something that you enjoy and you just get AI into it, you get your knowledge of AI, you're probably going to get at some point paid higher than your peers who are not looking into that technology. So there's opportunity even where you stand today to improve things, get paid better, just by understanding this technology. So this is at least the overall of what people are thinking about and the concerns and the good news as well in all of this. Now let's move to something else. Who are the people that will be in hot demand? Again, I'm not talking about here the most effective and the least affected by the technology. I'm just talking about what are the roles, if this is something of interest, that will be in red hot demand in the market going forward. And you can look these type of roles up, and they're not as simplistic as the way I put them, but these are basically the highlight between brackets that you can go and see this area of artificial intelligence and what you can do there. Maybe it's your kid, maybe it's you yourself, maybe you're in university and you want to explore something that could have a better future in terms of pay. So on top of them is AI engineer. And what AI engineers do, it's basically a lot of things. One of them is what goes behind developing these models, training these models, solving the problem of data shortage, what type of data, the quality of the data. It's a huge type of actually family of roles that goes under this term. The second one is natural language processing or NLP engineer. And again, this is basically the technology that helps large language models process and deal and leverage human language. How do you understand the human language and how do you use it better? And I think there's so many branches into this now affecting voice models and what we do there. I think AI research scientists, and I think this explains itself. So there's lots of research. It's science that's moving fast, and you need actually lots of research and development. So if you're in research, you definitely have lots of work in the future in the AI field. Now, data analyst, this is something not new, but definitely, as I said, AI is three things: the model or the technology or the mathematics behind the model, computing power, and then the data. So data, you have a lot of it. You need people who are expert in that field. As by the way, it might not be on the hottest jobs. Everyone who touches computing in a certain way, they're going to do really, really well because the demand is only increasing. You can look at NVIDIA stock, and just make your own conclusion. The last one is AI business strategist. And again, the reason I put this one in green is this is me and you. If you work in a corporate like me, this is us. So you're someone in business and you are someone who are trained to put together strategies on how to leverage that technology within the business and move it in a direction that helps your numbers, helps your customers, and helps your model as a business in general. So this is, any one of us could become this kind of AI business strategist, in my opinion. And the only thing you need to do is put your hand on specific type of skill sets, experience, exposure, and expertise that would establish you as that AI business strategist or expert within your organization, business, or wherever you are operating. So these things are hot in demand when it comes to artificial intelligence. So just keeping that in mind. Now let's move to the other area. So basically we put forward the technology, the challenge, who's today is on demand. Now let's look at who's affected more than others, who's affected less than others, and what to do and what not to do when it comes to our fears and anxieties when it comes to artificial intelligence and automation. So if you're still watching, you're still here, thank you for that. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content and write me a comment. Again, this is a conversation, not just one video, me telling you what's right and what's wrong. It's something that is based off some research. You can do your own and you can give me your perspective. Maybe you help me learn something new or a different angle of looking at this that I didn't cover in this video. So let's move to the second section here. And we're going to start by looking at careers affected. Now, this is some interesting kind of information that I found in some of the articles I read. So some statistics on jobs to be lost. Job displacement potential. McKinsey estimates that by 2030, up to 375 million workers, approximately 14% of the global workforce, may need to switch occupational categories due to automation and AI advancements. Again, I'm not saying that for you to panic. This is just some of the research that is coming out when it comes to these technologies. Automation of tasks. Around 50% of current work activities are technically automatable by adapting currently demonstrated technologies. Sector-specific impacts. Sectors like manufacturing, retail, and transportations are expected to experience the highest levels of job displacement due to their high proportion of automatable tasks. So this is just gives you a flavor of what we are looking at when it comes to jobs and how they will be affected. So let's move and look at who will be most affected by this. So this is the group that is most affected by this technology. So starting off with manufacturing and production. So this is the group that I think will be mostly affected by robotics in the workplace or in the facilities that we use to manufacture and produce goods. Those also will be affected by also automation in terms of software that will do lots of tasks that people have to do to be able to run these manufacturing facilities. The other one, which is mentioned in the research, is transportation and logistics. So these are areas we see today, for example, what Tesla dropped in their truck and their autonomous cars. So we're talking about the Uber drivers, the truck drivers. These will be affected when it comes to actually technology, AI-driven type of vehicles taking away their job. So it's being driven by a machine, basically. Retail and customer service. I don't think this one is new. I think e-commerce has been driving more type of traffic when it comes to people preference in how they do their transactions when they buy compared to physical stores. And if you have a mall or a shopping mall or kind of a store around you that maybe you preferred or a brand that you preferred or liked, probably you have already noticed that they're reducing their physical locations, they're increasing their presence on social media, online in general, to sell their products and maybe services. So this is not new, I think. It's just something that will continue to reduce. It will not go away. None of these will go away. I think these will be more affected. And let me be clear on that. More affected is it just is a threshold and a curve of how these occupations will be affected compared to others. So I'm not saying any of those will go away. So if you have a manufacturing job, a transportation job, a retail job, etc., odds are many people will still have their jobs going forward, but the impact on those areas is higher than others. So the last one is administrative and clerical work. I think one of the most areas that will be affected by artificial intelligence and automation is all these kind of low value adding mundane daily tasks. So anything that is not really value generating, not strategic in concept. And when I say strategic, basically requiring really a thought process from a human being. It's just a task someone's doing, humans today is doing. All of these will go to these automations and artificial intelligence models. And it is not necessarily a bad thing, because I know many people, at least I look in my experience, in my career, are doing so many tasks that are time consuming, low value generating tasks, and it doesn't allow them the time to even think about their value that they generate out of doing their job, the way they can contribute better or more deeply to the organization, the business, and the customers. And I think automation and AI reduces those kind of tasks. It will allow more people to actually do more. We might have better visibility that we have really creative, smart people in our organization that in the past didn't have the chance to breathe and really be critical and smart about how they do their job and bring new ideas to the workplace. And I think this is not necessarily a bad thing in many of these areas. So this is just for you to be aware. These are, as per research today, might be wrong by the way, as per research today, people are expecting, who did these studies and papers and research, they're expecting that these job families will be more affected than others. Not going to go away, but they're only more affected than others. So let me read you some of the things I picked up from some of the articles I read and the research, how those are affected, basically those job families. Partial automation. AI takes over specific tasks within a job, requiring workers to focus on non-automatable tasks. This is what I'm talking about. It will take these kind of automatable things that will allow you to do these kind of critical, smart, creative things of your job. Full automation. Entire roles may become obsolete when all tasks are automatable. And this is a possibility. I think if you're doing something, and I can have an argument at the end so we can have the discussion, but if you're doing a job where you're just doing something in a certain sequence and you do not have a critical thought process in what you do, probably this is one of these kind of jobs that will be fully automated. Job transformation. Evolving roles. Jobs are redefined to emphasize tasks requiring human judgment, creativity, and interpersonal skills. So again, the same topic and the same theme is coming up. People will do more of these things. The technology will allow you to do more of the actual intelligence that you have as a human. Human intelligence will be a really important commodity in the future. So it's not that artificial intelligence will destroy everything. And it will allow some people in their current roles to do just more of that, which will bring their value to these businesses, which will increase their wages and improve their life. I'm just being on the positive side here. There are negativities, which we covered, but also there's lots of things to be excited about if you ask me when it comes to artificial intelligence. Productivity gains. AI increases efficiency, allowing employees to handle more complex or higher value work. Again, the same theme, the same thing we're talking about. Workforce rebalancing. Skill shift. Demand rises for advanced technological skills and decreases for basic cognitive and manual skills. So there will be a shift in some people who know more of the technology, they run the technology basically, and they can help the business streamline it. So those kind of strategic mindsets will be on hot demand. And if you're there, or you're not there today, but you start working yourself toward that goal, you will probably be on the side of people who benefit from the technology. Geographical changes. Jobs may shift locations based on where AI and automation technologies are implemented. So this is the way I understand this. This is my perception of things. You can go and do the research, read the articles and decide for yourself. But there's so many jobs that are pushed outside certain economies, especially in the West, because it's low wage type of movement of that geography. So there's certain low value adding tasks. In the past, we didn't have AI, we didn't have automation. So the solution was, well, send it somewhere, maybe in Asia, where wages are low and you can do it at scale. I think this will be disrupted. And what you are today having to move to a different location to be competitive in the market, actually technology will bring back home to your country or to your economy, where you will still hire people within that economy that can do much more at a much higher quality just by leveraging those technologies. So this is something, again, one of the areas I think governments, legislators need to think about today. And it's just something for you to think about and ponder on, that, well, your economy, depending where you live, might actually get more opportunities rather than less, just automatically by having that technology bring back jobs to your location. So that's a possibility, that's a potential, and one scenario to think of. Now, let's go to the least affected. And this is also an interesting area that is worthwhile spending time. Creative work, basically artists and designers, writers and authors, novelists, screenwriters, journalists, and then content. Now, all of that creative work, I think, will not be affected by artificial intelligence and such technologies. This is my opinion. Maybe someone else will debate differently. And I would argue that actually it will help them spread more and do more, make more money. Because today, for example, I'm a native Arabic speaker. I do my videos in English because I saw interest in English speakers to the content that I'm covering. Maybe in the future, I want to do it in Arabic. I have that always dilemma. Should I go back and try to do the content in my native language? Am I really articulate in English enough for people to enjoy my content? AI, what will AI bring me maybe in the future? This could be, by the way, a feature on YouTube where it auto dubs what I say in 10, 15 languages in the future to my audience. So I might be doing this same content somewhere in Germany, Italy, China, Thailand, where people don't actually speak English, don't speak Arabic, and they can get it real time from me and feel that it's an authentic content created in their language. When it comes to technology, at least how I feel about it today, especially AI, if I see anything that I even hint it's created by AI, I just move forward. I just close it, shut it down. I'm not interested to watch an AI model speak to me and tell me about something. I want to consume content that's created by humans that have mistakes, have issues, they have concerns, they have anxieties, they have worries like I do. I want to see them with their mistakes. I want to see them learning, growing. That's part of why I enjoy content creation, because I'm growing, I'm exchanging with other humans. And this is why also I enjoy also watching other content creators. If you do all of these kind of faceless channel, I'm not talking about the faceless where there's a human behind with a voiceover, I'm talking about the ones like fully automated. I will not spend a second on that. I'll not waste my time to watch a model tell me something. I can go just to ChatGPT and get it, honestly. So I think those areas will not be affected as much as we think. I think even they will be growing more, they will be leveraged further when it comes to these technologies. It will enable them to do more. Doctors and surgeons, nurses and caregivers, mental health professionals. Now, we covered in the first section the mental health concerns when it comes to the anxieties and fears out of this technology. So I think mental health will be a big topic. It will require more people to support that industry. But when it comes to doctors and surgeons and nurses and caregivers, well, technology will help them a lot. Diagnosis will be much faster, and that doesn't necessarily affect them negatively. I think when it comes to healthcare, the human element maybe is number one. At least this is my perception. If I go to a hospital and I feel the nurse and the doctor are like robots, they're not even trying to be empathetic. If I have something concerning me when it comes to my health, then I will not probably go back again. I think this is a human, unique area that technology will improve, but technology cannot replace. My 2 cents on the topic. Again, all of these things are up to debate if you disagree. Education and training. I think, again, part of education and training will be affected. So I guarantee you within corporates, you're going to find AI generated content or AI modified content for training. AI developed training programs. All of these things will come. And places like Udemy will be affected, if you ask me. But in the core sense of education and training, I think it will also shift somewhere else. So, for example, when it comes to schools, universities, it will help them spend more quality time with the students to have that kind of focus on each individual, their needs, their preferences, and how they learn, and help them grow and succeed. I think that will actually grow, and people will easily shift from one end of the spectrum in education and training to the other to serve more of that. Because training is a unique thing. If you have kids, you already know it's not just throwing information at them. It doesn't work that way. You will have to actually get people excited about what they're learning, enjoy it, get the idea in the right way. And I guarantee you, especially when it comes to kids and schools, AI is not going anywhere near that. It might help support the teachers, support people who deliver those great services, but it will not go anywhere close to them. I don't want a robot teaching my kids. Let's put it that way. I want a human. Even if those humans may make mistakes, I still would prefer my kids to be in a place where they exchange with fellow students and teachers, because that helps them grow emotionally, even cognitively, deal with complex social scenarios, which AI doesn't have, and I don't think will ever have when it comes to it as a technology. Then we go to social and community service. I think this is no need to explain it. When it comes to your involvement, others' involvement in society, societal problems, challenges, helping others, I don't think AI is going there. Again, it might facilitate what these people are doing. I don't see a huge impact on them. You're going to always need those social workers in whatever country or community to help in the goals of that organization. And I think that's a given, and those will not be affected. And this is a really important one, and I kept it intentionally to the end. Leadership and management roles. These will not be affected. And when I say leadership and management, I don't think this is meant by, well, you have manager or director in your title or a VP. I think this is what I added from my side. People running AI and automation. People basically doing that strategic part of the work and less tactical, less automatable type of task. So I think those people will not be affected. So if you're today in your career and you're concerned, get the right skills to be able to be someone, at least in the eyes of your organization and others, that could streamline technology, help the business use it better, help your fellow employees to skill shift, whatever the area you decide to address this from, as long as you are someone seen as running the AI, running the automation, using it, leveraging it to create more value within the organization, create more opportunity, you are good. No one will even think about your presence in that organization, regardless of the area you work at, because they will see you as a leader when it comes to bringing value to the business. And they will need more of those people, as we covered before, to transform these organizations. These changes, these shifts are not easy. I guarantee you that if you work in a corporate, I've been there 20 years, these shifts are easily said, really hard to do. So people today may be excited. In corporates, you might find executives trying to move everything to AI. If they do it in the wrong way, fast way, unplanned way, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot, in my opinion. If they do it with care, if they really look at what matters, who can help them do that shift? Who are the people today doing even the automatable tasks that have really high potential if you skill shift them or upskill them to do much more for the business? At the end of the day, artificial intelligence will create extra value. And I read in one of the papers, by the way, we're talking about close to easy $1 trillion only in the US economy by 2030, I guess. You can read it for yourself. So there's value creation. So there's lots of value created in the economy, at least based on those numbers in the United States, just by artificial intelligence. So that's something to think about if you're really concerned that it will affect things and shrink the economy or shrink your job. It doesn't work that way. You need just to address it the right manner with the right attitude, I think. Let's go to the last two parts, which is what to do. So, okay, I've explained to you end to end the problem, the challenges, people affected, not affected, people will be in hot demand. What should I do with all that information, you might ask me, Samer? And I wanted, based on the research, based on my thoughts, I put this in categories and we can talk them through quickly. And then even I have what not to do when it comes to this. So let's start with this one, upskilling and reskilling. So you need to shift your skills. I mean, unless you're someone in technology working with AI, you need to start thinking about gaining new tools in your toolbox. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you get a bachelor's degree in AI engineering. Not at all. You need to interact with these AI models. You need to understand the technology. You need to understand automation, where it makes sense. You need to have a look at what you do today and what is potential for automation and AI to help out and do more things. I think that is something very essential. And what are the skills that you need to gain in 1, 2, 3 years that you don't have today? And then put a simple plan on, okay, this is my plan to go from A to B. I'm going to be having all these skills. I'm going to be seen and realized as a skilled person when it comes to technology, regardless, AI, automation, and even other. Now, we don't want to forget the core skills that many of us already have, and that will be in demand in the future. And these are the 3 skills you see on the screen. Complex problem solving. So if you're doing something today, maybe you're not investing so many times in solving problems because you're busy with these kind of mundane tasks. These will go away. So that's good news. But you need to also try to, again, get the gears working, oil them again in your head to start solving complex problems for the business. What are the methodologies used to solve the complex problems? How do you get people around the table, discuss and bring these problems and solutions forward? How do you put them together and take it to a feasible solution to your business? You need to start doing more of that. This is something you do today and probably you're going to do in the future, and it will be much more in demand in the future. Critical thinking is another one. So how critical are we today? If you think of it on your day-to-day job, you have to question that. Are you critical of things happening around you? Do you question things that are not necessary? All of these kind of optimizations will be a skill in the future that people will pay for. You can drop AI on a function or a team, nothing will happen. You need someone in that team critical enough to challenge why things require AI and automation, and what areas actually you should keep out that technology from, and why is that. So you need that critical thinking, and that obviously overlaps with creativity and emotional intelligence. You can do none of these things if you don't have creativity and emotional intelligence. And part of it, by the way, is untapping those creativities and emotional intelligence with people around you. If you're not creative yourself, but able to work with a group of people, motivate them, get them to share really bright ideas and execute on them, probably, again, this is one more skill lots of people will pay money for in the future. Now, embrace the lifelong learning. Again, this is part of one of the papers I read. You shouldn't expect that, okay, we got AI and machine learning and automation and all these things, and now, yeah, that's it. Once I learned that, I'm done. I can just retire and not use my brain. I think these things move so fast. So if you look at ChatGPT 3.5 compared to ChatGPT 4.0 today or 0.1, it's a huge difference. So it's moving fast. It's a moving target of some sense. So you should keep yourself up to date, learning how this technology works, what's happening out there, what more I can do, what things I should be careful of when dealing with that technology or anything around that when it comes to automation and AI. Career transition strategies. So you need to think about that. I think many people are not happy in their current roles. And this is a change in the market bringing opportunity. So you might not be happy in what you do today. And even if you're happy, but you think you're highly affected by this technology, you should start planning for a transition. I'm going to go after those skills. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And at some point, I'm going to work my way to switch from what I do today to what I will be doing in the future. And that could generate opportunities, learning, experience, and so many things. Adapt to new work models. Again, this is something we touched on before. So the way the dynamics in the workplace, the dynamics in the operation models that are happening could change a lot. You could be in one location geographically, your role could be moved to a different location. The way your team and organization is structured could happen, change. So if I want to summarize this one, change is happening every day. You need to be able to process change positively. You need to do it at least in a way that doesn't disrupt your life, your career, and the life of people around you. So you need to manage change in a right way. Organizations will always have the responsibility over what they need to help their people with when it comes to change and skill and so forth. But I think you should think for yourself. Don't wait for your business, your organization to come and teach you AI. You'll be behind. I guarantee you that. Do it on your own. Take charge of your future and start doing things when it comes to adapting, preparing, strategizing, and upskilling yourself. Last one is advocate for supportive policies and organization initiatives. I think this is a given. I don't think any responsible, smart organization should miss this. If you miss the bus on this, you're going to have a less effective workforce, and people will gravitate more to companies that is taking care of this, and you're not going to have the skill that you need even with the technology at hand to compete in the market. So companies should start doing that. Look at the people in your business, look at the most effective, put plans to skill shift them, upskill them, do something else, help them remain with their knowledge. So if you have someone in your factory floor for 20 years, you are stupid, and I apologize for this, if you think the easiest way is to replace that person because now a machine or a robot will replace them. I think they have a wealth of knowledge and experience about your product, your company, your culture that definitely should be repurposed within that organization. So you can help that person skill shift, go somewhere else, keep that knowledge within the organization, teach other people about the small details of how you used to do things when it comes to executing or manufacturing your product. What made your product so unique? That person is the one who has that knowledge. Companies that don't do this, I think they will lose market share, if not perish. Companies that start today working on this, looking at their workforce, how they'll reshuffle things, they will make lots of success. People will lose their jobs. We don't live in that rosy kind of perfect world. Some people in some organization, they will find themselves not able to return a certain number of people. That will happen. That is fine. Opportunities, hopefully, will be created more in other areas of the economy. So these people will still find a job. Again, it depends on the individual as well. So we don't want to blame the business only. But companies that doesn't really start with this today, they will pay the price, I think. Now, what you should not do, and you can see my message clear here, do not panic. And I think if you are overly relaxed or overly panicked about the future, in both, you're doing yourself disservice. You shouldn't be super relaxed that your job is safe, but also you shouldn't be panicking all the time. And there are reasons why you shouldn't panic. So I did that as well for you. There are reasons why we shouldn't panic that could give you that peace of mind, and some of them are actual proof of that. Historically, every time we had this type of disruption, when we moved to the industrial age of our evolution, new jobs were created, many jobs were displaced. When the internet revolution happened, lots of jobs were lost. Lots of jobs got created. So, I'm a millennial, so I've seen that kind of transition happen in real time in front of me. At least historically, everything is telling us this will happen again. The information or the demand in the market is telling us this will happen again. Job augmentation rather than replacement. So jobs might change rather than being replaced. Your job will be different. What you do today will be different from what you're doing in 5 years maybe, or 10 years. It might not go away. It might in some cases. New job creations. So as we said, it goes to number one. New jobs, things that probably today we don't see, will come out. Who would have thought in 2006, or I was just graduating from university, that a content creator will be a role that people make millions out of? Jobs will be created. New things will be out there that maybe today we don't even see yet. Productivity gains leading to economic growth. AI could contribute 477 billion to 1 trillion to the US only. So this is what I've mentioned before. So there is productivity gains. There's value in the economy just by using this technology. Human AI collaboration. You're going to be working with an agent. You're going to be working with AI. It will help you do more work. It will help you be more productive. It will help you have a normal life-work balance. It will help you to spend quality time with your family, but still do your job. Again, always when I say these things, I put a caveat. I hope corporates also don't get greedy. So people are doing more and at higher quality, so they want to squeeze the hell out of them just to make their money. I hope that doesn't happen. There's shift in skill demands, which we covered along the video. Certain skills will be more in demand. Some of them you already have, most of you have. You just need to leverage them, sell them, show them, grow them, and then adaptation and retaining. Just we need to adapt as humans. Organizations need to adapt with this. This is a nice statement. While it's true that AI will disrupt some jobs, history and current trends suggest that it's more likely to transform work rather than eliminate it wholesale. The key is to focus on adaptation, lifelong learning, and developing skills that complement AI capabilities. So this is in a nutshell. So you shouldn't be panicking when it comes to artificial intelligence and automation. Now, the other thing is you shouldn't stay complacent. So this is the other end of it. You shouldn't just be relaxed, scroll, see people talking about AI and do nothing. Don't do that. You're doing yourself disservice. You're the one that if you do that, well, you can't blame the businesses if they're moving and you're not moving with them, and you lose your job at one point, or you're a less interesting prospect or individual within your organization. So don't be complacent, don't panic, find a middle ground somewhere where it's comfortable to you, where you do some learning, some development with people around you, and you grow your way into either something better, something different, or something new. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know this is a controversial topic. Maybe many of us think about and discuss with other people every day. Over a coffee, we tell our friends, yeah, you're going to lose your job, buddy. Don't be so excited about AI. I tried in my way to organize these thoughts, give you whatever different perspectives that I see out there. At least it will help you think about it, put certain plans for yourself, maybe for your business, and put actions in place that will help you actually leverage this change, this transition we're going through when it comes to technology for your benefit personally and as a business, as a family, as a society, as an organization, and as a community overall. So if you enjoyed the episode and the value I tried to deliver as much as I could to you today, do not forget to subscribe, write a comment. It's actually more important to me than anything else. This is a nice conversation to have for the community. And with this, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.